In just a few hours, the House subcommittee on the coronavirus crisis will hold its final hearing. There, the panel will discuss the findings of a new report compiled after nearly 2 years of interviews with those on the front lines of the country's COVID-19 response. Here now to discuss some of those takeaways, Subcommittee Chairman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. He's also the Majority Whip and will serve as an assistant Democratic leader in the next Congress. It's very good to have you back on the show. Congressman, I guess I'm concerned. How much does this look at how many lives could have been saved, especially in the first few years of the coronavirus pandemic? Because it seems like it took the United States and the administration a long time to find its way.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, Good Joe, and the others. Look, what we have found here is the past administration, at the onset of the coronavirus, tended to put politics over people. You remember all of these cures that this president was calling upon after denying that it didn't exist at all. But this committee was formed by Nancy Pelosi to look at how our response would benefit the American people. And right off the bat, we started looking at how the money is being appropriated by Congress was being spent, whether it was being done efficiently, effectively, and equitably. Those are the three watchwords that we use. What we found is that right away, we started getting money returned because people were getting money that they were not entitled to. Then we found out that a lot of people in the administration was detoured. They were doing stuff trying to prevent effective implementation of the virus. So some rejections that we were trying to put together, the vaccines. We had people, and they're still denying the effectiveness of the vaccine. Everybody wanting to know, where did it come from? Well, the fact of the matter is, our job is to deal with it now that it's here. And so we got a little bit concerned when we saw implications the other day in an op-ed, I think it's in the Washington Post, implying that the Republicans are going to do some stuff in the next Congress that they refuse to do in this Congress. And I always say, you can best tell what people will do by looking at what they have done. And they have not done anything in this Congress. This bill passed without a single Republican vote. None of them voted for it. And I think we've been pretty effective. Could have been much better off if we'd had more cooperation from the Republicans. So this report will make 30 recommendations as to what we think should be done going forward, because we know we're going to have these kinds of healthcare challenges going out into the future. And so the scientific experts were not listened to, and we think they should be. We had a lot of intervening from politicians, and we should not have had. And we think that while they're focused on penalizing Dr. Fauci, they should be focusing on what to do about preventing these things from happening. And when they do happen, respond in a way that will benefit the American people.
Yeah, you know, we found out, obviously, that there's some members of Congress who claim to be anti-government, anti-big government, who were the first in line to get COVID relief. We've also found out, of course, that there are a lot of really wealthy people who owned jets that decided to actually get COVID relief for their own, that set up corporations to fly their private jets around. A lot of the wealthiest Americans, a lot of Republicans, very people who claim to be anti-government, using especially the Trump COVID relief bills to pad their pockets. What do you know about that?
Absolutely. Billions of dollars we found were ill obtained by various corporations connected to the past administration. We found that there were members in the administration that were overriding the scientists and not allowing their recommendations to go forward. When I say billions, I do mean billions. Now, this subcommittee is not authorized nor equipped to deal with this. So we turn all those findings over to the appropriate authorities, and you will find much of that in this report as well. We did, in the first 2 weeks, got $10 million returned. In the next 3 months, we got 109 million returned. So we did some of this work, but this subcommittee was not equipped to do what needs to be done going forward. And I think the Justice Department and others will look at our recommendations that are going to be made public at our hearing this afternoon, and hopefully they will correct these measures going forward.
Congressman, good morning. We were talking on the show yesterday to Dr. Fauci about lessons learned in the evolution of this disease and things that maybe would have been done differently along the way. We talked about schools. Schools were closed for a very long time, perhaps too long, knowing what we know now about the way children tolerate coronavirus and COVID-19. Do you look at that at all in your report on what should be done next time in terms of kids being back in school?
Yes, we do. Our recommendations will go through that as well. But, you know, these things are interrelated. When we have a problem like school closures, we have to think not just about the children who are connected with the internet and can go forward with their educational pursuits. We had children who lost a year of school, some more than a year, simply because other things going on in the country did not impact them in a positive way. That's one of the reasons when we passed the Rescue Act, we went immediately to looking at what we could do, funding programs to the internet, the so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill, $65 billion for the internet, because we saw what happened to these kids when they could not go to school. In my own family, I saw my grandchildren staying connected when their classmates were not. This is the kind of thing that we dealt with, not just in this report, but we were doing this all along in the Congress. I was using my experiences with this subcommittee to inform the entire Democratic caucus as to what should go into these bills in order to insulate our children from this kind of happenstance going forward. And you'll see a lot of that in this report and also in the legislation that we've already passed.
Congressman Jim Clyburn, thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
Thanks
we really
so much,
appreciate
Jim.
it.
Greatly appreciate it.